Okay, in this video we're going to talk about adding and subtracting mixed numbers with regrouping. So we'll start with addition. We'll start with this first problem here, which is 3 1/4 plus 2 3/4. Now, when we add and subtract mixed numbers, I think it is very beneficial to stack them on top of each other instead of solving it side to side. We want to go vertically up and down because this way will help you to remember to add or subtract the fractions first and then go to the whole numbers. Okay, because we want to start with the fractions because they have the smaller value. Okay, so we're going to start here with 1/4 plus 3/4. So we check, we have common denominators. So when we have common denominators, we can just go ahead and add our numerators. So 1 plus 3 would give us 4, and we keep our denominator. So 4/4. Now we can move on and do our whole numbers. 3 plus 2, that gives us 5 4/4. Now, if you're like me, you see this answer and you're like, that looks a little off, because we notice that fraction is not a proper fraction. The numerator and the denominator are the same here. So hopefully you remember, when the numerator and the denominator are the same, that means that is one whole. So what we're going to do is we'll just draw an equal sign here, because that 4/4, if we box it in just to help us remember, that is one whole. Even jot it down on the side there. That is one whole. So really, you have 5 and then one other whole, which would be 5 plus 1. That gives us 6. Okay, so instead of saying 5 4/4, we want to say that's 5 and another whole, which is 6. 5 plus 1 gets you to 6. So 6 would be the best, simplest answer there. We want to always simplify our answer. Okay, so we're going to try another one. All right, this one we have 2 2/3 plus 2 1/3. Again, we want to start with our fractions. So you have 2/3 plus 1/3, which gives you 3/3. I'm running out of room, so I'll have to slant it. And then we're going to add our whole numbers, 2 plus 2, which would give us 4. So we have 4 3/3. Again, our numerator and our denominator match. Okay, so 3/3 is the same as one whole. So that's like saying we have 4 plus another one whole, which would give us how many wholes? We would have 5. We're going to circle our final answer. We have the simplified answer, because 4 3/3, I mean, it's not incorrect, but it's much simpler to just say 5, because 3/3 is one whole. We already have 4. 4 plus another one gives us 5. Okay, now we're going to do a couple of subtraction problems. So again, you still want to write it up and down. You want to stack them, make sure the bigger number's on top. You can tell 3 is a bigger whole number than 1. Even though 3/4 is a bigger fraction than 2/4, the whole numbers have more value, so we're going by the whole number. So 3 is bigger than 1, so this is the bigger number. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead. We have the same denominator. We have common denominators. So we're ready to start. But the problem is we're trying to do 2 minus 3. We can't do that. We can't take 3 away from 2. So we're going to have to borrow or regroup. Who can we borrow from? Well, we have this big whole number right here. We can borrow from our whole number. So what we're going to do is we're going to borrow from our whole number. That's going to make our new whole number 2, because we took some away from 3. Now, we don't want to come over here and just put a 1 next to this 2 and say 12/4, because that would actually be incorrect, because we don't have 12/4. If we look at our denominator, it's 4. So if I took a whole group, I'm using 4, 4/4 is a whole. So that means I took 4/4 when I borrowed one whole. That's the same as 4/4. We need to rewrite as an improper fraction. So the best thing to do is see how we got plenty of room over here. We're going to go over here and rewrite and make this problem look a little better now. So we're going to put our equal sign. Don't forget your whole number. Remember the whole number. It's got to come with us. So I'm going to go ahead and put the whole number there. Now we got to add our two fractions. 2/4 plus 4/4. That would give us 6/4. And now what we want to do, we don't have to change anything down here. We just need to bring that number over and rewrite it over here. Bring our symbol and underline again. So now look at this problem. This is much more manageable. So now we're ready to do it. Now we can do 6/4 minus 3/4. 6 minus 3 is 3. Keep your denominator 4. Okay. Now we're ready to do the whole numbers. 2 minus 1 would give us 1. And we ask, can we simplify? 3/4 is already in simplest form. So that is our final answer. 1 and 3/4. Okay, so we're going to try one more of these. We move down. We see now we have 2 and 1/3 minus 1 and 2/3. So again, you can see 1/3 take away 2/3. That's going to be a little bit of a problem. We're going to have to regroup. So instead of doing 1 take away 2, I'm just going to go over and we're going to borrow from our whole, which is going to make this a 1. And remember, we can't just put a 1 right there and say 11/3, because it's not the same thing. We took one whole group and we're dealing with thirds. So one whole group would be 3/3. So now we have to add 3/3 onto our fraction. And we're going to say equals. And now again, please don't forget your whole number. Okay, your whole number is 1. So it comes over with us. And then we're going to do 1/3 plus 3/3. That will give us 4/3. And now we need to bring our other mixed number over. So bring the whole number and bring the fraction. Rewrite your symbol. Underline. Okay, now we are ready to work. We can do 4/3 minus 2/3. That would give us 2/3. And we can do 1 minus 1, which is 0. And it's not necessary to write a big 0. So we're just going to leave it like this because 2/3 is also already simplified. Now, if there's no whole number, it's understood that there's no whole number there. We don't have to put 0. So again, this was adding and subtracting mixed numbers with regrouping.